Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to a little session I'm going to be doing with you on credit cards because either you've got one or eventually you will get one, and I just want to show you how they work and why they are not a very good idea. But in order for me to do that, I'm going to make use of my personal assistant. Here it is. Okay, so here it is. This is my 4-year-old son, Santiago. Santiago, how are you?
Good.
Good, excellent, fantastic. You having fun during lockdown?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good, excellent. Well, all you need to know about credit cards you can get from a 4-year-old. Santiago, would you ever get a credit card?
No.
No? Why not?
Because it's stupid.
And there you have it. And if you don't believe a 4-year-old, which I cannot believe why you wouldn't, you can take it from Matt Barrett, Chief Executive Officer at Barclays Bank. And that's it. You see, this guy is a millionaire, makes a living out of selling credit cards, and he doesn't want his own children to use credit cards because credit cards are stupid. But in order to understand why, we need to look at the maths behind it, and that's what we're going to be doing just now, okay? So, the way credit cards work is compound interest. So you need to remember your compound interest formula, which I've got written there at the back. So F stands for future value. So what will be the future value of my debt, of my loan, based on a principal. The principal is the amount that we borrow on the credit card. R is the interest rate, but remember that in the formula, the percentage rate that you get charged needs to go in as a decimal. And T is the number of periods over which we're going to be doing the compound interest. So here we've got a quick example. Let's say I've borrowed £2,000 on my credit card at a typical representative rate of 20% per annum, so per year, for a period of 2 years. What would be the final value of that loan, basically? €2,000, £2,000, 20% interest rate per annum over 2 years. Remember, however, interest is charged monthly, not annually. What will be the final value of the loan? Pause the video, work it out. Okay, well, in actual fact, what I hope you've done is applied the formula correctly. So, the future value of the loan would have been the €2,000 I've borrowed multiplied by the monthly interest rate, because we said in credit cards interest is charged monthly, so plus 1 plus 0.2 divided by 12 in order to find the monthly interest rate, to the power of how many periods are we going to be compounding the interest over. And the number of periods is 24. There are 24 months in 2 years. I'm sure even you can work that out. Which, all you have to do is get a calculator, plug it in, and get the final amount. And you'll realize the power of compound interest and how much the debt piles on. So then, the question is, how am I going to pay for that debt? What am I going to do? And also, as a simple exercise, as a quick exercise, I would like you to figure out, if you do nothing, so you don't pay that credit card debt, how much would the debt be after 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years? Or maybe, what would the difference be in the final debt if my interest rate instead of 20% was 22% or 25%. Because believe you me, that's not necessarily the most expensive credit card out there. So again, pause the video, have a look, have a go. I'm sure you can do this after this quick example. And let's talk about how to pay off that debt. Okay, people, so here we have our example, our initial problem, our situation. So we have a starting balance on the credit card of £2,000 with a typical representative rate of 20% per annum, which if we divide by 12 will give us a monthly rate of 1.67%. And so far, let's say we don't make any monthly payments. Well, here I've got my repayment schedule, and if I'm not making any payments, I can use my compound interest formula like you should have done or did earlier, and you see that we accumulate a debt of £2,973.83. Or if I break it down on a month-by-month basis in this column here, you can see that at the end of the period I've repaid nothing because I haven't been making any payments at all during the months, and I accumulate that much debt, which we can put on a graph like so. Over 2 years, my debt, I've almost added 50% of the original amount on top of the debt. Now, the banks may suggest to you, hey, you know what? Buy something using the credit card and you only have to make every month the minimum monthly payment to avoid extra charges. Because if you don't make any payment at all during the month, they will, on top of adding to the credit card debt, they will add payment charges or no payment charges. So then maybe the minimum monthly payment may be something like £25 a month. So you think you're safe because you think, okay, they only require me to pay £25 in the month to avoid any extra charges. I'm okay. But because you're a little bit clever, think about this. On £2,000 a month, at a monthly rate of 1.67%, the interest that you accumulate that month is £33. And you're only paying £25. So your actual payment that you've made hasn't even covered the interest. So what happened to your debt is that it has gone up by £8. And if you keep doing that every month, well, look at that. Because this is compound interest, your monthly payments on interest are going up. Your monthly payments still don't cover the interest. Your outstanding debt with the bank keeps going up and up. So over 2 years, you've paid the bank £600, but your debt has gone up. So you don't owe the bank £2,000 anymore. You owe them £2,243 in spite of having paid them £600. Look at that. Your debt still has gone up. And you've given them £600 and you owe them even more money than when you started. Yes, that is allowed, that happens. And people that don't know very much about finances, that's the situation they find themselves in. So, okay, you may think, I'm a little bit clever, I know my numbers now, I know that my interest payments are about £33, I want to pay a bit more than that. Well, what if instead of £25 every month, I pay, I don't know, £45? What's going to happen to my debt? Well, here you go. Your first month, the interest accumulated is £33. You pay 45, you manage to reduce your debt by £12. But then the interest kicks in again, so it goes up to 2021 because we accumulate a new £33 in interest, but you pay 45, so you bring your debt down to 1,976. What happens is that after 2 years, you've paid the bank £1,080, which if you think about it is kind of half of the amount you borrowed, and you still owe them £1,659. Your debt is not even a quarter, or is not even a quarter less of what it was at the beginning of the period. At this rate, it's going to take you many, many years and a lot of money to pay off those £2,000. So the question is, okay, how do I find what's the amount that I need to pay every month in order to pay off all my debt in 2 years? And in order to do that, I'm going to introduce you to a little formula that if any of you end up working in finance or learning economics or working in the finance sector, you may become familiar with, which is this formula here, is the present value formula. Now, the present value formula, basically, what it tells me is that the value today of a series of payments in the future, of regular payments, in this case, the monthly payments, if I add the value of all those payments and discount them to today, that's the formula to find the present value. Now, this is a bit confusing, but let me explain. A pound today is always worth, well, generally, it's worth more than a pound tomorrow, because typically prices go up every year. Think about how much a car used to cost 20 years ago, how much it costs now, or how much a house used to cost 20 years ago, how much they cost now, how much your grandparents paid for their first house, how much did your parents pay for theirs. Things typically go up and up and up in price. So what you can buy with your money today is always typically is more than what you would be able to buy with the same money in 10 years time. So £100 today is worth more than £100 in 10 years time. The things you could buy with those £100 today are more than the things you will be able to buy with £100 in 10 years time. So okay, £100 in 10 years time, what is their value today? And this formula tells us. So to find how much money I had to pay every month in order to clear that debt in 2 years, the present value is going to be the £2,973, because we know that's what the debt is going to be in 2 years' time if I don't pay anything. R is the monthly interest rate, N is the number of periods, again 24. So if I rearrange to find the cash flows, so the monthly payments, so 2,973 divided by all this square bracket there, I come up with this magic number, £101.79. So if I write that here, £101.79 every month, I'm basically paying £102, and you can see that your debt is slowly going down until at the end of the 2 years your outstanding debt is zero and you've repaid the bank £2,443. So over 2 years you had to pay back £443 in order to borrow and repay those original 2,000. You can see in the graph here how the debt is finally cleared off. So, another activity for you. If instead of £2,000 I borrowed £3,000, £4,000 or £5,000, and my interest rates instead of 20% were 22% or 25%, what would be the monthly payment that I will have to make every month in order to clear that debt in 2, 3, 4 years time. So remember, you're going to need the present value formula there, like I've used in the example. Hopefully, I know it looks a bit long, I know it looks a bit messy, but hopefully it'll be clear for you and you can use that, and maybe perhaps just let me create a little spreadsheet, because it's a good skill to have to see how things happen. Okay, and then back to the main board. And this is it. These are the maths behind credit cards. But like I said, remember, it's not just bank credit cards. Store cards also function as credit cards. So your Carrefour Pass card, that is also a type of credit card. Or your Corte Inglés card, that is also a type of credit card. Any shop that offers you a card, that's a credit card. Where they tell you, oh, you can use our card and pay in monthly installments, where they're trying to rip you off. You're going to end up paying a lot more money back than something costs, just for the ability to spread the payments over time. And beware, remember, take a lot of care with those minimum monthly payments, because more often than not, they're not covering the monthly interest charge. And if you had it from my 4-year-old son, and you had it from chief executive at Barclays Bank, and you still go and decide to use credit cards to finance your purchases, well then, I'm not gonna say it. So, task number 1, you need to explore the effect on the final amount of increasing the interest rate to 22% and 25%, but also explore what will be the effect of increasing the time period from 2 years to 3 years, 4 years and 5 years. So maybe you can complete a little matrix where you've got 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years, and then 22%, 25%, and see what the impact is on the overall amount of increasing the time period and the interest rate charge on the credit card over time. Another task for you here, maybe to explore, is to find out there what are the different credit cards offered by the different main banks in Spain. So maybe you can pick BBVA, Santander, La Caixa, Banco Sabadell, and see, first of all, can you find the information? What's the typical representative APR rate they offer on their credit card, and see if you can find what's the minimum payment on a monthly basis in order to use those credit cards. Okay, and as a final task, and you don't have to tell me this, ask your parents or whoever you live with, have they got a credit card? Do they know what the interest rate is on the credit card? Do they know what the monthly payments is? Maybe investigate how they bought something on the credit card. And if so, are they aware of the minimum monthly payments? Are they using it on a regular basis? As I said, I don't need to know, I don't want to know. Have they got store cards like a Carrefour card? Because that's another type of credit card. Do they use that type thing? See how much they know about stuff that they may be using on a regular basis. You may be surprised, you may not, I don't know. I'm just going to float it out there and see what happens for you to investigate. Yeah, have a think, consider the situation, what you've learned today, and see if it applies to you or not, or maybe, I don't know. Please, 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 take lots of care, health-wise and financially. Stay safe, be nice, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.